Good evening. I'm Ann Marie Lipinski. I'm the curator of the Nieman Foundation. There are many people in this room who are longtime dear friends of the Nieman Foundation, and to you, we welcome you back to the Walter Lippmann House. For those of you who are our new friends, welcome to the Walter Lippmann House. We are just so excited to have all of you here with us this weekend. And I'm just personally really looking forward to the conversation that will unfold over the next couple of days. I wanted to say that this gathering really is the result, in my mind, of two conversations that took place almost back to back last year. The first was a phone call I got from Andy Solomon at the MacArthur Foundation saying, hello. Like to talk about what you're doing at the Nieman Foundation. And we started a series of phone calls about what we're working on, the interests of the foundation, and where our interests might intersect. Around the same time, Laura Wides Munoz, who was one of the Nieman Fellows in last year's class, and as you all know, covers immigration for the Associated Press, came in to see me and said, you know, I'm trying to put this independent study together this second semester on immigration. And I'm trying to gather up all the people I need to sort of fortify me for the next generation of stories I need to do, and was specifically interested in economics and an area she thought was underrepresented in the coverage. So those two things eventually dovetailed and became what we have this evening. And I'm indebted to the two of you so much for starting that conversation and bringing us to you and you to the Nieman Foundation. We work here a lot with journalists, and traditionally it tends to be 24 lucky fellows who come from across the globe, a couple of them here tonight in this year's class, some of our alumni also here. But it's very much the intent of the Nieman Foundation to open our windows and doors to a much broader population of journalists to see if we can't advance important conversations on our beats and about our industry. And we hope that tonight and the rest of this weekend is an example of Nieman's ability, MacArthur's tremendous support making this all possible, and also the convening power that Harvard has in bringing people, extraordinary people like you, together. One of the exciting things about this weekend is that we have not just journalists covering immigration, but journalists covering economics. And one of the things we know about our newsrooms is that we know each other all too well and not at all sometimes. And so we hope that we've created a space here for you to work together in ways that may not be optimized on a day-to-day basis in the places where you work. And we hope that out of that comes a much richer conversation. And then lastly, because we're all slaves to whatever we're currently reading, I wanted to, I'm reading a book called The Far Away Nearby by Rebecca Solnit. I don't know if any of you know it. It was just sent to me by one of last year's fellows with a note about why she thought I would like it, and I do like it. I like it very much. But I want it, it's a book about telling stories and telling important stories. And I just wanted to read you the first paragraph because I think it is sort of inspirational for what we're going to be working on this weekend. And she starts, "What's your story? It's all in the telling. Stories are compasses and architecture. We navigate by them. We build our sanctuaries and our prisons out of them. And to be without a story is to be lost, lost in the vastness of a world that spreads in all directions like Arctic tundra or sea ice. To love someone is to put yourself in their place, we say, which is to put yourself in their story or to figure out how to tell yourself their story." I thought that was kind of a good primer on the challenges of covering migration and immigration in this country. So I hope you find a little bit of inspiration from Ms. Solnit, as I do, and that becomes kind of an organizing challenge for this weekend, which is to overcome the weakness we have in telling other people's stories. In any event, with that, I would like to introduce Andy to you to talk a little bit about this weekend from the perspective of the MacArthur Foundation. Thanks so much.
Boy, I don't know how to follow those words. a lot more poetic than mine will be. Anne Marie, thank you so much for putting together an unbelievable program and for assembling a remarkable group of journalists. We're really excited to be supporting this effort. I'm joined by my colleague Lauren Pabst, you might want to wave over there, and Tara Magner, whom you'll be hearing from in a minute. And I want to just tell you some brief background information about the MacArthur Foundation for those who do not know. We're probably best known for something called the Genius Grants. It's a term we don't actually use, but you and other colleagues in the media do, and we don't really fight you that hard about it. It is a somewhat secretive process by which we identify 20 to 25 incredibly creative people every year. They usually don't know they're being considered, and they get a phone call from us out of the blue telling them that they have won $625,000 with no strings attached. So we just made that announcement last month. It's really exciting and fun. It is, however, a really small piece of what we do, even though it gets a ton of attention. We're one of the nation's largest private philanthropies. We give away around $225 million a year. And one thing that's always been really important to us is helping to educate and inform the American public about important issues. We've supported nonprofit journalism for decades. We were one of the first big philanthropic supporters of National Public Radio, of news shows on PBS. We currently support the Center for Investigative Reporting, ProPublica. If it's successful and nonprofit and impactful, odds are we support it. So, under that guise, and given an interest also in immigration issues and how important they are to the country right now, we really felt like it would be helpful to get a group of journalists together, journalists who care about the immigration issues that are at stake right now, who want to take some time away from the day-to-day grind of your jobs, and I know those are incredible, hard jobs that you all have. To think about these issues in a deep way, to hear from experts, to hear from each other, to hopefully identify and better understand some different perspectives, and to take that back to inform the work that you do and to help share with others in your newsrooms or at your organization. So we come to this with no ideological agenda, no political agenda. We're not partisan. We really just think this is an important issue, and the work that you guys do to help inform and educate the public about it is really critical, especially at this time. And so we support this workshop with the sole purpose of helping you to better do your jobs and to have the support and the resources that you need and the time that you need to think about how to do that. So with that, I'm going to let Tara give you a couple minutes about our migration work, and then the three of us are around for the rest of the workshop and happy to talk further and look forward to learning from all of you this week. Thanks.
Well, thanks from me also to all of you for coming, and we haven't thanked our expert speakers yet, so we want to also thank them for traveling and joining us. I think that the 10 minutes of conversation I had in the other room have already convinced me that this will be a terrific weekend and a great discussion and a learning opportunity, even for those of us who have the luxury of working on these issues most of the time. The MacArthur Foundation has a relatively new grant program on U.S. immigration policy and regional work in the Central America, Mexico, U.S. corridor. The foundation has a long history of funding around migration issues at the global level, but the work in the U.S. has only been in force for about a year and a half. And when the foundation worked out a strategy to work in the U.S. and region, the migration region, regional corridor, as we call it, the foundation tried to ascertain what are the gaps, what's missing. There are a lot of donors, as you probably know, who are engaged in funding advocacy on one side or the other of the immigration reform debates. And MacArthur, as Andy said, tries to avoid jumping into the political fray, but tries to focus on systemic change, tries to help build the evidentiary basis for policymakers to draw from and make the best decisions that they can. So the work that we are funding in the U.S. Immigration Policy Initiative is mainly focused on the economic and fiscal impacts of immigration, which seemed like an area of work that had not been produced to a great degree in prior debates. As you all know, the 2006 and 2007 debates in Congress focused more on the ideological aspects of the issue. The economics were a part of those debates, but less so, in part because the economy was much stronger. Now, as the debates are underway again, we see a much stronger emphasis on economic and fiscal issues. So funding data, evidence gathering, research, and analysis is the main thrust of what we're doing in the U.S. immigration program. And we have grantees like Migration Policy Center that are churning out terrific work all the time. I don't know if I'll get in trouble for making a plug for a fellow, but since none of us have anything to do with choosing the fellows, I can say that they're terrific immigration judge or immigration lawyer was named in this year's class, Margaret Stock, who I hope you'll all consult as a resource as you do your work. So the agenda put together by Nieman is intended to help you all learn more about the economic and fiscal issues of the core components of immigration reform debates. The agenda is as balanced as anyone can produce one on immigration. Obviously, these issues are a bit charged, but we think they did a terrific job of bringing balance to the presenters. And I think I'll leave it there and let everyone enjoy their dinner. Thank you.